Kathy Eliason was licensed as a Unity teacher in 2002. She served Unity Church of Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada, both as a licensed teacher and as their spiritual leader when they were between ministers. She was also a popular guest speaker at Unity Vancouver and Unity of Comics. Her training in rehabilitation and physiotherapy gave an added dimension to her work. A labyrinth is being constructed on the grounds of Unity Nanaimo, which will be lovingly dedicated to her memory. Kathy is held in the hearts of Unity Canada with gratitude for all that she did to share the Unity message.
A licensed Unity teacher ordained as a minister in 1978, Reverend Janet Manning had a widespread impact on the Unity movement. She served as faculty at Unity School, including chair of communications and chaplain as she helped to plan and implement new curriculum. Reverend Janet co-ministered with her husband Wayne in Columbus, Ohio, and Sacramento, California. She was co-founder of Free and Unlimited Ministries and sponsored the World Prayer Network, one of the first online prayer ministries. Her training in love and music, writing, drama, poetry, and storytelling left a lasting mark on the Unity movement. A major contributor to the Wings songbook, Unity people everywhere are still enjoying her song, I Am Free, I Am Unlimited.
Charlotte Bunkelman was licensed as a Unity teacher in 1994 and served at Unity Church of Peace in South Bend, Indiana. Charlotte, a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, was a world traveler, making trips to China, Egypt, Europe, Kathmandu, Nepal, and Puerto Rico. Besides teaching, she was also a lifelong learner, most recently expressing her artistic side with an ancient Chinese technique of watercolor. Her life itself was a wondrous work of art.
Reverend Midge Beckman found Unity through her father, who was an early reader of the Daily Word. She was ordained in 1975 and held the dual roles of minister in the local Brisbane ministry and the flagship of Unity of Australia. Her leadership had an impact on all the Australian ministries. She worked as the director of Silent Unity in Australia, with thousands of letters going out to people all over the country who asked for prayer support. She is known for her listening ear and her loving words of encouragement. She will be remembered for her Sunday services, midweek services, and extraordinary candlelight services.
The Reverend Dr. Ina Faye Grayson Thomas was ordained along with her husband, Reverend Vernon Thomas, in 2002. Known as Claire to her friends and colleagues, she was a beloved wife, minister, and teacher. She served as the director of Unity National School UK, as well as the president of the Board of Unity London Ministry. She was especially appreciated by the Unity students in Montego Bay, Jamaica. She also played a key role in the licensing of Unity teachers and ordination of Unity ministers in Guyana. May her soul rest in perpetual peace. Selah.
Reverend Carol Crane was the founder of Unity Christ Church of Truth in Mobile, Alabama, where she served with love and dedication for 42 years. Originally ordained by Reverend Dr. Barbara King, she was ordained as a Unity minister in 1981. Carolyn served the Unity movement on the national level with 10 years on a variety of committees, as well as serving 2 terms on the board of directors for the Southeast region of Unity churches. Carolyn left more in life than she took. Well done, good and faithful servant.
Reverend Frank Munkle co-ministered with his wife Louise at Unity churches in Lincoln, Nebraska and Newport News, Virginia. A veteran of World War II, he spent a number of years as a successful businessman and hospital administrator in New Jersey and Oak Park, Illinois, before he became ordained as a Unity minister in 1981. He was also a hypnotherapist. Reverend Frank loved life and was very outgoing with an engaging personality and infectious laugh. He always had a kind word, helping hand, and witty response, and leaves a legacy of love with his family.
Reverend Joseph Wolpert was ordained in 1985 and founded his self-named alternative ministry. Reverend Joseph served on the faculty at Unity School of Christianity as well as Unity of Alhambra, California. He left his mark on the Unity movement with articles he wrote for Unity publications and tapes he had made for the audio cassette ministry. Reverend Joseph was grounded in his deep faith and fully explored spirituality and its many modalities.
Marie Thompson became a licensed Unity teacher in 1992. She served as the spiritual leader of Green Valley, Arizona from 1988 to 1993. Marie and her husband Howard recently moved from Cottonwood, Arizona to Waxahachie, Texas, to be near their daughter and grandchildren. Howard joined Marie in spirit 8 days after she passed. Not surprising, since they always wanted to do everything together. Originally a Methodist minister, Reverend Jack Poole discovered Unity and was ordained as a Unity minister in 1986. 3 years after ordination, Reverend Jack Poole married his wife Susan at Unity Village in 1989. He went on to serve at Unity of Raleigh, Unity on the North Shore, and Unity of Kentucky. He lived his life in love, peace, and oneness. Jack's greatest joys were God, family, and golf, and he believed that everyone is the face of God. His greatest contribution to the world is his teachings to extend love and forgiveness and to honor the divinity in everyone.
Reverend Eunice Shenyong served at Unity Church of Madison, Wisconsin, as well as ministries in Ohio and Indiana. She served the Unity movement as a member of the licensing and ordination team, reading hundreds of applications for ministerial school. Eunice was also the retreat director of the Great Lakes Regional Laypersons Retreat. Her best friend, Diane Sickler, called her an amazing soul who was truly centered in prayer and the joy of living.
The Reverend Mavis Hilton, fondly known as Avis, was ordained in 2010, but has been associated with Unity of Jamaica since the late 1970s. Avis served in many capacities, including the music ministry, the board of directors, Silent Unity, and the prayer ministry. Avis went on to be a facilitator of classes and workshops and was often a guest presenter at Sunday morning services at Unity of Jamaica. Semi-retired, she kept serving at Unity of Jamaica in Kingston and teaching classes to students training through Unity National School Jamaica. She was loved by all in the community.
Darlene Cross has been awarded an honorary licensed Unity teacher status posthumously because she transitioned while she was an LUT student. An Army veteran, Darlene actively pursued her dreams with community commitment. She was part of the Lesbian Community Cancer Project and Powwow, an African American community arts organization in Chicago, until she moved to Maryland, where she found Unity. She became an associate professor at a community college where she taught IT courses. She was a shining, inspirational example for her family and friends, those from Chicago and around the world, as well as her spiritual family at Unity of Washington, D.C. Reverend Paul Myron Timon co-ministered with his wife, Marge Britt, at Unity of Walnut Creek. Paul loved to facilitate 12-step retreats. Reverend Paul also ministered at Unity of Tustin for 19 years, where he implemented the Centering Prayer program. An ardent student of the work of Father Thomas Keating, he knew that silence is God's first language. Everything else is a poor translation. This influenced his most memorable work, his silent retreats at Snowmass, Southern California, Colorado, and at Unity Village.
Reverend Yves Lafontaine, ordained in 1978, served at Unity of Lehigh Valley, Emmaus, Pennsylvania, and Unity of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He also served as the regional representative for Canada for 5 years and was a recipient of Unity Canada Northern Light of God Expressing Award. An immigrant from Haiti, Yves was bilingual and began French translation service for Silent Unity letters when he was in ministerial school. When Unity in France stopped translating the Daily Word in French, Yves took up the challenge, spending many years translating and publishing La Parole Quotidienne, the French version of the Daily Word. The word for today is Merci, Yves.
Reverend Melsadie Dawkins served the Unity movement in the United Kingdom. She was ordained in 2010. Some of us met her in 2016 when she was one of 6 delegates who came from the United Kingdom to the Unity People's Convention. Melsadie was a special leader and will be deeply missed.
Sarah Eddington served at Unity Spiritual Center of Albuquerque from 1986 to 1996 and Unity Spiritual Center East Mountains, Edgewood, New Mexico from 1996 to 2000. We are grateful for her many years of sharing Unity's teachings. She was the life partner of James Walker, and he writes, "Who and what was Sarah? An expression of spirit. The kingdom of God within. That was Sarah, the most selfless and giving person I have ever known. Never wanting to receive, but always to give. To help teach. To give hope, courage, understanding, and sympathy to others. To make life happier and more enjoyable. To teach by living and showing the eternal life in spirit."
Reverend Millie Perdue reached that wonderful milestone of 100 years of age. Active in local theater, she was named Dumas Woman of the Year in 1962. When she became widowed, she started a new career as a Unity minister. She served as the senior minister at Olympia, Washington, Unity of Port Angeles, as well as Unity on the High Plains in Amarillo, and Unity of Lubbock, Texas. Her dedication to serving others included hospice work and tutoring for the Amarillo Independent School District. A century of life well lived. A great-grandmother, she left a lasting legacy on the life of her family as well as those whom she ministered. Reverend Catherine Anderson was a Peace Corps volunteer in Panama before becoming a minister. She was a lifelong learner who studied various branches of psychology and was fluent in Spanish, German, and French. Catherine loved sharing the big ideas and practical wisdom of philosophy and spirituality in her teachings, but also was deeply committed, performing countless weddings, memorial services, and christenings. Her first church was Unity Hamilton, Ontario. She then became an instructor and student advisor at Unity Village. She co-ministered with her husband Marvin at Unity of Montreal, Quebec, and Vancouver, British Columbia.
B. Rogers was licensed as a Unity teacher in 1990 and served many years at Unity Church of Rochester, Michigan, where she was a founding member. B. Rogers served as a licensed teacher representative alternative for the Great Lakes region of Unity churches for 6 years. Her colleague, Reverend Carol Biggs, remembers her serving with much enthusiasm and love. She was also very active in planning several wonderful GLURC conferences. B is remembered as a joyful presence.
Ilana Iglesias was an accomplished author who served as a licensed Unity teacher at Unity on the Bay, Miami. She served this ministry as a wonderful teacher and as a prayer chaplain. Originally from Havana, Cuba, Ilana was a poet, narrator, translator, journalist, animal lover, and spiritual teacher who worked as a professional between the United States and Venezuela. Her final book, a compilation of stories as told by different types of trees, will be published posthumously with all proceeds donated to Unity on the Bay. A lover of nature, it was appropriate that she made her transition on Earth Day.
Cameron Bailey was an extraordinary lay leader who did much to spread the Unity movement in Canada. Born in Barbados, he spent his youth in England until he finally settled in Canada, where he became an avid student of truth. Led by Spirit, he was one of the founding members of the Association of Unity Churches Canada. His positive spiritual path led him to help several Unity churches in the Toronto area, as well as being a founding member of Unity Christ Center of Truth, Etobicoke. Cameron was a recipient of the Unity Canada North Light of God Expressing Award.
Jim Scott, better known as Scotty, was an active licensed teacher at Unity Renaissance, Chesapeake Bay, Virginia. He was the adult education director, church secretary, and development team leader. An entertainer, educator, and author, he was also known as the loud poetry guy, bringing joy to all who met him. Founder of the comedy troupe Funny Farm, he found a passion for children's poetry and published 2 poetry books, Louder and Louder 2. He leaves us with a legacy of childlike joy.
A longtime instructor of A Course in Miracles, for years, Thanksgiving at Seattle Unity meant a hilarious sermon by Reverend Robbie, followed by a joyful Thanksgiving feast. His life as a Unity minister included a short time at Unity of Petaluma. He was devoted to hospice work, was a great foodie and moviegoer, as well as a sports star and professional gambler. He brought smiles and laughs to a wide array of individuals and had the gift of holding deep, close, long-term friendships.
Reverend Alan Robotham was a man who modeled absolute love and light. He blessed multiple congregations, and today, many people across the country consider Allen their minister. His teachings and loving example encouraged many individuals to go into ministry. Reverend Allen, along with his late wife Catherine, were teachers at Unity School at Unity Village. They also served together at Unity of Roanoke. Reverend Allen went on to serve the first Unity Spiritual Campus in St. Petersburg, where he stayed an active member after his retirement. As comments flow in on Facebook, there is a common thread. The world lost an amazing man, but his ministry continues because of his bright and enormous heart, which spread the love wherever he went.